is Alex. I have an Instagram and also a YouTube, Love Sugar Show. So I want to thank you for taking the time for doing the interview and welcome.
Thank you.
And
Thanks
I
for
will
having
have
us.
you guys introduce yourself and give us a fun fact about you.
I'm Kelly McLaughlin. Fun fact is I am a carpenter by day.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm Eli Lundgren. I guess my fun fact is I'm a nurse that helps with colonoscopies all day.
That's pretty cool.
But nurse, yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of pain in that because, that's the first one I've met. So anyway, I want to talk about this album. And one thing I noticed as soon as I pulled it up is the album artwork. It was very pretty, very eye-catching. Like if I saw it and I was like walking in a store, I would definitely pick it up and be like, "Oh, what is this album about?" So I'm curious, what was the inspiration behind the album?
For the album itself, or do you mean are you talking about the art now?
The art cover.
Yeah, the art cover, I was kind of wanting a kind of really symbolic object of some sort and kind of settled on a sundial and thought I was kind of inspired by Watchmen. Have you ever seen that extravagant kind of like moving alive sundial on the planet with Dr. Manhattan? Kind of remind me of that a little bit. So yeah, I just wanted kind of something really, like you said, cerebral looking and definitely no AI was involved. So we wanted a real human putting paint on canvas. So I kind of just conveyed the different themes of the album to the artist Daniel. And
Mm-hmm.
there's all if you look closely, there's actually like three different kind of pillars of different runes that he made. Those are kind of symbolizing the different themes of the album. So yeah, just kind of regurgitated the things that I wanted to talk about in the album, gave it to him, and he just kind of made it work.
Awesome. And anything to add to that, Eli?
I feel like, I mean, for all the albums that we've done, it's been a similar format, but we just wanted something that was still cohesive, so that you could kind of look at all three in a row and say like there is like a trail of breadcrumbs to be kind of found between how the art flows from one album to the next, not only
Mm-hmm.
sonically but like with the visual representation as well. We didn't want it to be like choppy. It all has to kind of almost melt into to some amorphic thing.
Yeah, it's funny enough, I didn't even think about that, but he told me he was looking at the old album artwork and he wanted to make it kind of fit in with those as well. Just like kudos, hell yeah.
That's awesome. At
Yeah.
least he was like involved in it and
Oh yeah.
cared, so that's cool.
hmm
And you said that there was some themes in it which also reflect on the artwork. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I don't want to go too much into detail because I think there is like a lot of room for self-interpretation with the lyrics, and so a lot of it's like hidden in kind of plain sight. I mean, I can divulge the title track, Infinitudes passage, is about talking about infinity and kind of the boundlessness of different things of life, and the rest of it's kind of up to you.
Awesome, awesome. And anything to add to that, Eli?
Uh, I mean, as far as like the concepts, the lyrics, all the artwork, other than like Sonic stuff, the other guys have a much better grip on where that belongs. They're much more cerebral in that stuff. So you're talking to the wrong guy when it comes to that aspect of it. But I'm always just impressed by what they come up with, and I'm like, dude, this is awesome. I'm all here for it. So I'm really lucky that they kind of have their head in a certain direction, and they're just like charging towards that. So
So you're kind of like quality control, though. You see the product and you're like, okay, I like this, or no, we need to rethink this.
there's rarely ever a time where I'm really like displeased with something, usually everything I'm just like, you guys, this is good. And they're like, no, 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 we can make it better. And then they do. And I'm like, oh, you made it better somehow. So, um, yeah, I guess I'm the fact that I have people that are expecting the bar to be like higher and pushing ourselves further and further is really lucky. So.
That's awesome. And for people who have listened to the album, what experience were you trying to create for them?
You go
Oh
ahead.
man, this every time we create music, it's selfish. We just are happy that people are along for the ride. But really, this is all for us. Like we just like to do this, and the fact that people are willing to listen to it and appreciate it is just like a consolation prize.
Hmm.
But we're selfish with this stuff. We just want to make sick riffs that we want to listen to. That's pretty much it.
Gotcha. And anything to add to that?
Yeah, I'd have to totally agree. Like we don't really aim to make something for the listener. In most cases, I feel like since we're are so close to this music, we're like a heightened version of the listener. So
Yeah.
we kind of again like on Eli's point, we just kind of make it the best to our ears and kind of just trust that people will latch onto it
But
after.
I've
Gotcha.
with this album in particular, I feel like people who are continuing to re-listen to the album over and over are really picking up on like the tiny nuances between, the same riff isn't really the same riff. There are subtle differences between and people are really picking up on this album more than other music that we've produced, which has been cool that people are paying attention.
Yeah, I've seen even like people go into like forums and they'll like discuss and be like, "Oh, what do you think this song is about?" And normally it's normal discussion, but there are times where people, of course, get upset and they're like, "It's definitely not about that. It's about this." So, at least people are talking.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's if what I wanted to add on your previous question was that I think it's a lot more about the experience of kind of searching for meaning rather than just here's the meaning and like kind of giving you the keys to the Lamborghini. You got to kind of find it yourself. And if it comes out different results, that's totally fine. It's just all about process, you know?
That's the
Very true.
idea.
And I think that's cool that you don't give that away because I know I've listened to songs and I'm like, it feels like it's about this. And then the artist will be like, oh, it's about this. And I'm like, oh, well, I thought it was about this. And now I don't know how to feel about that song.
Right, right, totally. Yeah, we don't want to do that for sure.
How do you both feel now that the album is like into the world now and not just like in your heads? It's actually like out there.
It feels great. There's actually, since we worked on it for so long and so hard, there were like months where I just like couldn't even hit play anymore. And I just kind of wanted to let it marinate a little bit. And yeah, I've been just it feels great to feel like it's out there. It belongs to the world now. It's not anything we have to really concern ourselves with as far as making it anymore. It's a huge relief. And yeah,
Yeah.
that it's out there feels amazing.
Yeah, we worked really, really hard on this. And I didn't listen to it for months and months and months and months before the drop, just because I
Yeah.
wanted to like give space for myself to be able to like almost come back into it new and refresh myself. And I feel like it was really healthy and like a very um, big sigh of relief that like I'm done. Everyone else can just like enjoy it. It's there for when I'm ready to give it a listen and remember all the times that I had with the people that I love that um,
Yeah.
all the hard work that we put into it. So it's just yeah, a relief is the best way to put it. It's just out there now.
Yeah. And I'm curious, what was the biggest challenge that you faced during the creation, recording process of this album?
You want to take this one?
Man, um, we did a lot of self-engineering on this one, and most of that credit is going directly to Pierce, our drummer. And so we had to figure out a lot of this for ourselves, and it's mostly just because we're broke. So we just needed to kind of dig in, and Pierce had been, gaining a
Yeah.
lot of experience, and he's the type of dude who will just like lock himself in a room for weeks at a time and just like figure something out. He's gonna figure it out, and he did. But
Wow.
coming over a lot of that adversity of like having this expectation to sound a certain degree of professional, but still like bringing the rawness of, self-produced uh, metal into the world was a lot. We made a lot of mistakes, a lot of things
Yeah.
that couldn't make it onto the album that we like bled and sweat over, but just like had to get scrapped. So I think that um, the amalgamation of what we had put together, a lot of that was like attempt after attempt after attempt, and just kind of facing the adversity of learning this stuff for ourselves. But we all, Kelly and I have talked about how we both feel like we've leveled up as musicians for this
Yeah.
album. And Pierce has definitely leveled up as an engineer. And Brian is always just like a smooth trajectory of like learning his whole life. He doesn't have as much like ups and downs as the rest of us. He's just always getting better at like a pretty steady rate. So
Pretty cool. Anything to add to that?
Um, I think it was inevitable when there's like kind of a process of uh given someone displaying what you've written and then trying to figure out how it's going to work in the lens of the band. There's always going to be a little push and pull there. So that's I think just like the collaboration process is always not going to be as smooth as one might hope. So I think, but that's always been the case with us, that sometimes stuff gets on the put on the chopping block and doesn't always
Yeah.
make it, and that can kind of hurt your heart when you made this thing and you like it, and so that's always been kind of a difficult process, killing your babies as we call it.
mhm.
Well, sounds like we need to get some more people to buy your album. So then next album you can do whatever you need to do and don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, totally.
That's very nice. Yeah.
And I'm curious what your current favorite song is on the album.
Ooh, I might have to say the song that Brian wrote, Nocturne of Ageless Reverie, which is the fifth song on the album. And at first, I didn't really know if it was gonna make it as an Ænigmatum song. It was the way he had it demoed out. It was so fast and just like kind of one
Oh my
tempo throughout the
God.
whole thing. It was just like ridiculously fast and didn't really have too much like groove, or it wasn't really breathing very well for me. But to his credit, he totally trusted my ear, and we made up this crazy kind of time map. And, um, when we clicked it out, and yes, it was one of those songs where it totally surprised me when it came out, and especially like when we were laying down vocals and stuff. It's like, yeah, this is shaping up to be my favorite song on the album, so that's one for me.
I have
Awesome.
to completely agree with Kelly on that one. That one, it had been written for a long time, and then we
Hmm.
finally just like locked in and learned this song, and really really happy that we did, and we had to just make it cohesive with the rest of our music, and that process ended up just being a lot of fun. I think that is like um the like unsung hero of the album. I think that people should really just pay attention to what's going on in that
Hmm.
song. But I am going to be a piece of shit and say that Inseparable is my favorite song on the album because I was the primary writer in that one and I just like it.
You have the most solos.
That
Has
that
the
and
favorite song changed at all?
As the what, sorry?
man, that favorite
I'm
song
sorry, I couldn't hear
changed.
you.
Yeah, I was just asking if the favorite song has changed or has it stayed the same one throughout the whole process?
Yeah, I probably liked my song the best before too, which is the Tarnished Nexus, and then yeah, it became Brian's song.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's why I wrote it.
And we've experimented with like weird tunings um uh on different songs in the past, and that was, Inseparable was the song where I had like a weirdly tuned guitar, so that was just a fun thing to do.
Gotcha. When I was first starting to play guitar, my guitar was always in a weird tuning because I couldn't figure out how to tune it. And I was like, I'm just gonna play it anyway.
Nice.
Nice.
So I'm curious, what atmosphere were you trying to create for the listener when they listen to the album itself?
I think the last album had its like really triumphant moments, and I don't know, coupled with, kind of wallowing in the dirt as well. But this album, I kind of had the intuition. I think we talked about it a little bit that this one might be a little more brooding, where like even with like the lyric content, even though there's full of like kind of, philosophical wisdom, if you will.
Hmm.
It's kind of not really like offering you a life raft, or it's kind of just presenting it in a very kind of maybe not cynical, but just kind of blunt fashion where it's maybe not as quite as uplifting this time around, which I think kind of leaves you a little more room to explore kind of just
Hmm.
the darker side. Because I think probably most of our albums we've had a little bit of a triumphant feel here and there. And that I don't feel like it was very present in this one, which is kind of cool, a little more consistent.
Sometimes you need that in an album.
Yeah.
Anything to add to that?
I don't know if it ever came across sonically, but the whole time that Kelly and I were going through these riffs over and over and over and over and over, the theme that we always had was just like we really wanted to lock the guitars in more than we ever have, and sound more similar to each other than like apart. Because in other songs that we've done, we've always kind of been like split, and like we would, we hit things with different levels of strength or what have you. And this time we were almost trying to like fuse so closely that it almost sounded like just one guitar coming out of one amp. And then, but also at the
Oh,
same
wow.
time, we always like when we were practicing, we were just like, we want this to feel a little bit more like rock and roll and a little bit more raw than what we've done before. I don't know if that really came out sonically, but it was definitely a theme going into it where we're just like, we want this to be a little bit more rock and roll.
Gotcha. And I'm curious, I know there's quite a few members in the band. Do you think that helps with the creative process, or do you think it's like a little bit more difficult?
Your turn.
Y- I guess there's a lot of nuance to that. It depends. It depends on the day. It depends on the moment. We're all going to come into to jam with each other at different moments of our lives. Who knows what happened to us in our regular lives beforehand, what we're coming into that room with, whether we just had a really, really brutal day at work, or whether we're happy because something really cool happened with our family. So you come in and you're driven by these emotions and these themes, and you're so passionate about like, I'm trying to write a riff
Hmm.
to represent, these emotions that I'm feeling. Some days, there are a lot of riffs that, we were just pushing and pushing and pushing that just ended up going nowhere. Um, uh, um,
Yeah,
So it's hard to say, I guess. It just depends on luck. A lot of it is just luck, where everyone is kind of feeling this cohesive set of values and set of ideas that things like actually kind of push through into fruition.
gotcha. What do you think? Do you think having more members helps, or?
I think you're screwed either way. If there's just one
Yeah.
solitary songwriter, I think there's going to be like resentment building, and there's going to be like maybe like the George Harrison of the group that just wants like I write good songs too. Why don't you guys let me use it kind of thing. But in that scenario too, it's also probably a lot easier because you don't have to really worry about producing your input necessarily. You just have to learn what is being presented. But then
Yeah.
like how we have it right now, it's just there's if there's four cooks in the kitchen, it's just bound to get a little chaotic with everyone's preferences and opinions and stuff. But it's just
Yeah.
kind of how you navigate that as gracefully as you can, and kind of remove yourself from the process as much as you can, and just try to look objectively at the material that you're trying to craft with your bandmates. I think that's the best way to go about it. That's easier said
There's
than
kind of
done.
yeah, there's kind of like a forced respect thing that is there where it's like, these are the riffs that you come to the table with, you are really, really passionate about. And there is
Yeah.
going to be days when everyone's like, that isn't going to work. And you have to be prepared to let that die. And that's really, really hard to do, but it's happened to every single one of us where we've come to the table, and as democratically as we can, just say like,
Yeah.
hey, this isn't going to make it into the song. But that's normal, and to be able to navigate that, and respect each other, and like still know that everybody who is coming to the table with riffs, all of us have like disgusting, nasty riffs. So, it's just
Yeah.
filtering through those and making sure that everything works together.
For sure. And I'm curious, what did you learn as a band creating this album?
It's tough to say. I feel like kind of things that you pick up along the way, it's not always as profound as others. So it's kind of like maybe just like happening in the background, maybe without you even knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's pretty tough to say. Um, yeah, I don't think I have a really great answer for that because it's just been so gradually over the course of speaking to my musical development. It's just kind of been so gradual and subtle throughout this whole time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think I have any specific things to say.
Yeah, learning, I guess, um, just trying to learn how to take yourself out of the music and be part of the process. Um, I think all of us were more hands-on with trying to learn how to kind of engineer this ourselves. So we just kind of had a lot more growth with and respect to what it truly takes to make our own music.
For sure. And that sounds challenging.
Oh yeah.
And like I said before, just a ton of respect for to Pierce for how much he stepped up to the plate, and did so much work for Kelly and I and our guitars.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. It sounds like you definitely had someone who was willing to, go the extra mile, which really helps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm curious, was there a song on the album that gave you guys like more of a hard time to create or one that kind of stumped you?
Mm, might be Brian's kind of just figuring out how that was
Yeah.
gonna as we call it be enigmatified. So that was definitely a process. Just kind of adapting it to our tastes and sensibilities because it was the way it had it before. It could have been in a totally different band, and we really
Mm-hmm.
had to kind of put our flavors into it. So that's always a challenge. And sometimes
Especially,
you ask yourself if you're forcing the process where you're trying to fit a square into a circle hole. But I
Yeah.
think we made it
yeah,
work.
yeah. And
I
plus
mean, it
that
is
that
like,
song was so fast.
yeah.
That song was so fast. Some of the chords had extremely big reaches. Just on a technical level, as far as like instrumentation, it was one of the hardest songs I've ever had to learn how to play. So
Do you like it now that you've, I guess, played it a few times, or does it still give you some trouble?
No, I am tired every single time I play one of our songs. By the end of it, I am tired. I need a second before like having a break to tune between songs is so necessary. And to just remind like your shoulders and your arms and your wrists to like relax and to just breathe for a second because you're gonna have to dive in and do it again. I am tired after every single song that we play.
Yeah,
So,
we don't make it intentionally, but yeah, every single song is um, pushing all of us to like the physical edge of our abilities. So
hmm.
yeah, no particular. They're all a bitch to play.
How does that translate into like a live setting?
I think it's a lot of kind of figuring out where you need to conserve your energy and where you can
Yes.
kind of let loose a little bit. And sometimes you got to sacrifice some of the showmanship to some degree to be able
Yeah,
to actually pull off the material. Um, yeah, it's just kind of doing it over and over and yeah, like I said, just kind of figuring out what you need to do to be kind of as efficient as you can.
for sure.
And to stem off of that, some of our all of our favorite shows that we've ever played were some of our worst performances that we've ever played, where we were just, in it for being part of the atmosphere. And, we flubbed like 1 out of 3 notes, but like nobody ever notices or cares. Everybody's just happy to be like part of the community and the atmosphere. And then we have a good time anyway. But we want to do our best, obviously, but it doesn't always work out that way. And even when it doesn't, like people are still stoked, and that's really, really cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I've always held for live. Like if you fumble here and there, technically, as long as like the spirit that where you're trying to
Yeah.
convey remains intact, I think that is
Yeah.
always more important. So I think that
And
like creates the energy and the vibe that live performances should create.
and then to like add on to the like the keeping like a rock and roll theme, whenever we do play something live, that's our opportunity to like play a note like a little differently and get away with it because no one can tell you no. And I don't know, we tend to have a little bit more fun when we do play live. It's something that we all just enjoy, and just like mistakes happen, but it's cool.
Yeah.
It ends up like working out every time. It's never been atrocious.
No, that's awesome. And like you said, you can kind of do something different during a live show just to have fun with it.
Yeah.
That's really important.
And I will let you guys announce the album where people can listen to it and then follow you guys so they can keep up with the band.
Sure. Yeah, Infinitudes Passage is available for streaming on all major streamers. And for purchasing the album, the pre-order is available on the 20 Buck Spin website as well as the Bandcamp, and our physical formats will be released on September 4th.
All right, awesome. And for anyone watching the interview, I'll put all the links below so you don't even have to go looking for it. You just go under this video and click on it. Makes it really easy.